Hi, this is Mike Brown, owner of Death Wish Coffee Company. Welcome to Fueled by Deathcast.
I love Jeff, but sweet and high. Whoop, Mr. Motorama coffee spot.
Death Wish Coffee presents Fueled by Deathcast, the world's strongest podcast. With your hosts, the incredible Jeff and the amazing D-Man.
Welcome, everybody, to Fueled by Deathcast. It is episode 109. We're chugging right along, speaking of 9, in 2019,
Woo!
as it is right now. And as always, I am the incredible Jeff.
And I am the amazing D-Man.
And we'd love it if you took a second and followed us on social media. Personally, it's very easy. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And you can find me at Death Wish Dustin.
But we would love it if you followed the show. We are at Fueled by Deathcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and we're trying to generate some really cool stuff over there. It's brand new to me running these accounts, these new social accounts for the show. So I'm trying to find the best way to engage with all of you. So please follow us on your favorite social media platform and like and comment and share on all the stuff we're doing. And we're gonna be doing some fun stuff. I got some fun stuff planned with some of the marketing team for our social media. Yeah, so you're gonna want to get in on.
You guys are gonna be surprised because I'm out of the loop.
Yeah. And speaking of social media, if you are on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, if you are not using it to follow Real Christian Slater, I don't know why you're on social media in the first place.
Really, I thought that's what social media was invented for.
If you go to
somebody was like, that Christian Slater dude, I need to know more. Let's invent the internet.
Exactly. That's exactly how it happened. If you guys are looking for, the real reason for the internet, social media.
Al Gore
Yeah.
was like, man, I want to be Christian Slater so bad. I need to know more. I need to know more. And Al Gore just made it happen. He invented it. He made it with his own two hands. And now we can follow Christian Slater on Instagram.
Well, if you haven't been listening to the show in the last couple months, we're just on this Christian Slater kick, and we figure if we invoke his name every single episode, one day he will be a guest.
This is a conjuring spell, so to speak.
Yes. So we can all follow him on social media and make it happen. But speaking of friends and guests of the show that have been on this show, our good friend Brock Powell.
BrockFox.com.
He is the voice actor on this show and 1,000 voices out there in the world. Please go follow him everywhere at BrockFox. Go to BrockFox.com. See all the cool stuff he's going to be doing. 2019 is going to be a big year for him. He's got some stuff in the works that I can't tell you about yet, but when it's released, it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
The anticipation.
Yes. And speaking of podcasting, if you guys haven't heard, don't forget about our mini episodes. The episode you're listening to right now, episode 109, is our weekly Thursday guest-based episode, and we put that out every single Thursday. But now, every Sunday, we have our science mini episode that comes out, and every Tuesday, we have the replay of the roast from the previous show. And you can catch both of those on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Music, wherever you find podcasts and you're listening to them on your favorite podcast device.
Secret code unlocked. Discount of death.
Man, if you're listening to us right now, we have always an awesome deal going for this podcast. You can get 12% off of everything on deathwishcoffee.com if you just use the discount code discount of death.
All one word. You just type it in at checkout after you've made all of your ideas of purchases on deathwishcoffee.com. And we got some really cool stuff up on the site right now. We got some really cool stuff coming up.
Oh, yeah.
That we're going to talk about, in the next couple weeks and months and stuff. So that code will work forever. Every single purchase you make, you just type in discount of death, all one word, and you get 12% off. It's because we love you guys. It really
Much love.
is.
Tons of love.
Tons of love.
I'm just bursting at the seams with love right now.
he doesn't sound it, but he really is. And we really
yeah.
do. We want you guys to save money. We want you guys to get all of the coffee and merchandise that you want. And discounted death for 12% off. I can't think of a better way. So this week, D-Man, we are welcoming a local, actually, to the show. She came into the studio, and it was awesome to meet her and talk with her, and that is Karli Taylor. Karli Taylor is a yoga instructor, and I would dare say innovator.
Yeah, well, you don't have to dare that much because she is an innovator.
Yeah, she is the owner and creator of BarreFlow. I pronounced that right?
You got it.
BarreFlow. Karli went on to create this program teaching a variety of workshops on posture, alignment, and corrective programming. She is a guru of the body, basically.
Yeah.
And talking with her on this episode, I learned a lot just about, like, the way the body works that I never even thought of before. It's crazy, like, because you think of yoga and it's, you know, if you don't do it, like I don't do yoga, but I see other people do yoga, you know, so I have kind of an idea of it. But her BarreFlow it combines yoga, Pilates, barre and classic strength training, and she had her own studio for a little bit, but now she literally tours the country teaching professionals this incredible innovation in manipulating oneself. It's crazy.
I will say, if you are a fitness fanatic like me, this is a great episode to listen to, mostly because we go diving into a lot of the issues that you run into in the fitness world. You know, all the weird trends, especially we talk about weird trends in yoga. But yeah, this is definitely a good one to listen to if you like to hit the gym. 100%.
Especially at the beginning of 2019 when it's on everybody's mind to get healthier and to get out there and be more active. This one is a great motivation. So without further ado, mugs up to this week's Death Guest, Karli Taylor.
Enjoy.
The Fueled by Death Guest.
Karli, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And I just want to kind of start by having you talk about what it is you do.
Well, thank you so much for having me. What I do, I guess a fitness professional is the easiest way to put it, but I own a small business that's getting bigger called BarreFlow, and I certify other fitness professionals.
Wow.
So I train personal trainers. I teach people to teach group exercise. So.
Wow. And this is all stemming from yoga, correct?
Yoga's a piece of it. It started years ago with me just being a personal trainer and actually a spinning instructor.
Oh.
It started. But
okay.
yeah. And then it grew into yoga.
Okay.
And then it grew into, I bought a yoga studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I one day just bought a yoga studio. And,
As one does.
That's what people do,
Yeah,
right?
How do you come to the decision of just like, I need to buy a yoga studio now?
So honestly, I didn't need to buy it, and I didn't really want it, and it was there, and it wasn't being taken care of, and I was like, these people need a place to go. I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm gonna do it.
Kind of like something needs to be done. Nobody else is gonna do it. I might as well get it done. Cool.
Yeah. So that's how it started, and Barre is this kind of emerging trend in the fitness industry, and every yoga studio has Barre.
And that's B-A-R-R-E.
Yeah,
correct?
Barre with an E. Extra R and an E.
So can you explain a little bit about, because I'm literally a novice when it comes to this kind of stuff. Can you explain a little bit about what Barre is?
Sure. So it comes from ballet, actually. It comes from Lottie Burke, New York City Ballet, years and years ago. And it's basically fitness using the ballet bar.
Oh.
Okay, I get it now.
So there's the bar with an E.
Okay.
And it's the bar on the wall. And honestly, it has nothing to do with dance. So you don't have to be a ballerina. There's a reason my mother didn't name me Grace. And it's honestly really hard.
Yeah.
It's harder than you would think. It's kind of deceiving, but it's a great workout to balance out whatever else you do, whether you're a runner, a cyclist, a CrossFitter. It's good balance.
So now you're saying that you're teaching this to and certifying other professionals and teaching this. Are you creating your own curriculum? Is that what's kind of happening from this?
Yeah. So what happened was I bought the studio and I needed to find a Barre program that I could kind of get behind.
Uh-huh.
And I come from kind of a corrective exercise background. I'm really picky about form and making sure people are safe. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't find a program that I liked. I mean, I traveled. I took Barre in Seattle. I took Barre in San Francisco. I took Barre, you name it. I took Barre there. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't find a class that I really liked everything about. So I was like, I could hate on it and say, I'm just not going to do it. Or I could do my own.
Wow. So what this might be a loaded question, but what sets what you do apart from what someone like would go into New York or Seattle and go into like a Barre thing?
So I guess first and foremost, it's not better. It's just different, right?
Right.
So It's vinyasa style. So here's where the yoga comes in.
Okay.
Vinyasa is a type of yoga, and it means it flows from one thing to the next. Its literal translation is it's placing movement with intention. So it's not like you do one set of 8 and then you take a break, and then you do another set and you take a break. It's you do one movement to the next without stopping. So your heart rate goes up, but also all those little muscles that stabilize are working harder. Oh, wow. So the actual movements aren't the big deal.
Right.
It's how you get from point A to point B. That's the big deal.
So I'm guessing this is something that's done barefoot?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's a really important part of it, right? Is foot strength, and I from what I hear, like yoga, that's like one of the best benefits of yoga is foot strength, and that's where, all of energy starts to come from, is from the ground.
Oh my God, absolutely. And we neglect our feet. I mean, we think we take care of them because we wear really expensive shoes.
Yeah.
And super
with
supportive
weird arches.
and super supportive sneakers and all sorts of crazy stuff to take care of our feet.
Right.
But really, we're kind of making them worse and weaker in the long run.
Yeah. So for somebody like me, I regularly power lift. Where would something like this help me out?
So all the small stabilizing muscles in your hips and your glutes, that's where your power comes from.
Right.
So it also helps to stretch those muscles, the things that get tight. So if you're doing a lot of squatting, if you're doing a lot of overhead pressing, you're putting a lot of stress on your joints, on your shoulders and your hips.
Yeah, I can feel it sometimes.
So these little tiny movements help to strengthen the muscles around the shoulder girdle and the hip socket.
Right.
So you can generate more power with the big muscles without putting stress on the actual joint.
So this is something that you probably hand off to a lot of trainers that then put it in their program, right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't necessarily teach my program, but they take the exercises and weave them in, kind of like active recovery. So you do some heavy sets of squats or heavy sets of snatches or clean and jerks, and then you put these little tiny hip mobility exercises in between.
So like it's something that I do a lot is like hip cars.
Oh,
Are you familiar with that? Is that like a movement that you work with a lot?
It's similar.
Yeah. So a lot of big rotational stretching, opening up.
Big rotations, stretching, but also little tiny ranges of motion.
Okay.
So you go from like the top end to the bottom end, but just small, like inch at a time.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's just stimulating the muscle in different ways and really working on getting the connective tissue to be more pliable.
What do you think? So if like a strength trainer comes to your class, what do you think is the most important thing that they walk away with once they learn something, a general thing from you?
I don't know if I really want to be associated with this or not, but everybody always says that they learn so much about their pelvis.
Okay.
Like neutral pelvis. And I have this whole workshop called What the Tuck. So
nice.
It's all about keeping your pelvis tucked in a neutral position because we sit all day.
Yeah.
Right? So we're sitting now and think of the way that our hips go.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of slumps down, puts pressure on our lower back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you take that posture and you don't address it, and then you go throw a weight on your back and do squats or things like that, you're just putting undue pressure on that lower back.
I mean, most people would talk about that in core strength, right?
And it is part of your core, but there's so much more.
Right.
So all the things that pull on your pelvis, it's not just your abs and your low back. I can see you trying to
Yeah,
figure
I know,
it out
right?
here. It's your hamstrings and your quads and your hip flexors and your glutes and even your lats. All of those things, if they're not working together properly, then you're going to feel the pain in your low back.
Right. I never thought about the pelvis as
Yeah.
Because now it's a thing I'm walking
Right?
away
See,
with.
everybody's gonna be
You're the
like,
pelvis person now.
Exactly. I should not have said that.
But so, I mean, this sounds like this industry is constantly changing. When did you start this iteration of what you're teaching?
I think it's been growing for years. I've always been really into safety and really into longevity of a practice.
Right.
So I don't want you to be able to work out for 2 years and then have to take 2 years off because you're injured.
Yeah.
Right.
So everything I do, I try to weave that into it. I'm a distance runner, a marathoner. I've been injured so many times.
Yeah, especially
So-
probably your feet too, most of all, right? Yeah.
Feet, knees, hips, everything from
yeah.
the strike on the ground
Yep.
to the imbalances.
Yep.
So a lot of my own injuries kind of played into it. But this bar, it's been about 3 years.
Wow. And do you
Yeah.
find yourself still adding to what you're doing and still like changing and everything?
Every day.
Every day.
I mean, this is a $10 billion industry, fitness.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody's looking for, bigger, better, faster, stronger, quick fixes.
Yeah.
So there's so many things out there that are counterproductive. So we have to keep thinking of ways to fix what people break.
Yeah. How many people come to you with like injuries and?
A day.
Yeah.
3 or 4 a day.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, but we do stupid stuff, right? And we get obsessed with one particular kind of workout because it works for us at that time. And we just think, because of who we are, we think more is better.
Yeah, I mean, I got that way with like jujitsu.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, this is a great way to stay in shape, and it's a lot of fun, so let's do it every day. And then once I turned 30, you know, then my knee went, and then my shoulders
Elbows
started
and
to go.
shoulders
my
and-
elbows and shoulders so bad, and my neck and my back and everything started to wear and tear, and that's kind of what you run into.
Yeah, more isn't necessarily better.
Yeah.
So it's like one thing might work, but don't do it every day. So I would never say do this workout every single day.
Right.
Do everything you like. Do the things that you like, but be smart about it and balance it out with things that are exactly the opposite.
So like a push-pull kind of mentality.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Why does that work so well?
Well, if you think about it, the way the body is designed and the way it's supposed to be happy is the front of the body and the back of the body each have 50% power.
Right.
So it's equal. That's what holds all our bones in place, right? Everything is just held in. It's not like we have pins and things holding us in. Skin, but it's not that strong. So the muscles work together. They're like 50%, 50%. Well, as we sit and do things like this, the front of our body is tight.
Yeah.
The back of our body is getting weak because the front of our body is taking the power away.
Interesting.
So we keep giving the power to this and forgetting to give power to the back.
Yeah.
And that's when it creates problems. So if you can do, just like you said, push-pull, you're constantly stimulating the 2 different sides, and then you have balance.
Interesting.
Yeah. It makes sense, and it's one of those things. It's easy, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've now been wrapped up into the yoga world, and one thing that I see is like kind of like a controversial thing nowadays is the spirituality built into yoga. What's your stance on that?
So yoga itself is the spirituality.
Yeah.
So it is the breathing, and it is the mindset. And I think a lot of people have this misconception that the spirituality in yoga is a religion.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm Catholic, I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, I can't do yoga because it's a religion.
Have you heard that before?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my
Really?
God. Oh.
Yoga's the devil.
Yeah. Or, I believe in Jesus, I can't do this. I'm like, great. Like, I
Jesus did yoga.
Yeah, I mean.
He looked like he did.
Right?
Sorry.
But no,
Sorry.
but seriously, it's not a religion. And the spirituality thing, it really, if it resonates with you, great. And you can find some type of yoga that doesn't get into that kind of really in-depth spirituality.
Yeah.
But it's still, the mindset is still being grounded.
Yeah.
And, being present. And all that stuff is good for us no matter where we are.
Do you think it's necessarily irresponsible for yoga practices to be extremely spiritual?
I think it can be.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of practices out there and a lot of practitioners out there.
Want to call them
who-
out while we're on here?
No. But you know who I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
people think that they're gurus.
Yes.
And I think that's dangerous.
It is
I
very
really
dangerous.
do. I don't think any single person should have that kind of power over, their disciples, so to speak. But
Yeah.
True.
It
I
gets
think
weird.
it does get weird, and I think it's irresponsible and dangerous.
Yeah.
So yoga it's an exercise program. It's a way of life. It's not a religion, and you don't need a guru to do yoga.
Right.
So as we get into this new year, I know a lot of people are always thinking, like, oh, new year, new me. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be healthier. And what would be your advice for someone that has never done any of this before and to want to try and get into it? What would be your advice?
I would say go easy to start.
Easy.
Not only go easy as far as don't push yourself too hard, but don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Because especially with New Year's resolutions, people are like, I'm going all in.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat any sugar. I am not going to have dessert. I'm not going to drink anything. I'm going to exercise every day, like starting January 1st.
Right.
How long do you think that's going to last?
Until January 2nd.
Maybe. Yeah.
I feel like that mentality kind of sets you up for failure because as soon as you have one thing, it's
Totally.
like, oh, well, I lost, so I give up now.
Well, that's exactly it. And I think last year they said New Year's resolutions lasted 11 days. That's the
Wow.
average, 11 days.
Wow.
So go easy, change one thing at a time, be nice to yourself,
Yeah.
and maybe wait until the 5th of January so there's not so much pressure.
Yeah.
Or better yet, start today, whatever it is.
Do you find, now that you've been in this industry for a handful of years, do you see that happening in January, like every year?
You see the fluctuation?
Oh my God! I mean, if you're thinking industry and business wise, if you don't make your money in January, you're done.
Oh wow, it's that crazy.
It's crazy. Everybody's gonna go online and buy the quick fix and the diet things and the energy drinks and the cleanses and any kind of gadget that you can imagine. And they don't work.
Yeah.
Because either A, that's all you do and you think one gadget is going to change your life, or you do what we talked about earlier and did every single day and you're so sore and you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
Since we're on that topic, because it's been something that I've kind of struggled with, and I've heard a lot of different trainers talk about it, of that soreness, meaning that you've kind of gone too far. What's your feelings on that? Because I think at this point I have a regimen that kind of makes it so I can go regularly and I'm not completely destroyed by the time I come into work because I did 100 deadlifts in an hour or anything like that. Now I have something but I still get a little bit more sore. Where do you think that middle ground is, that happy area?
So there's so many things that contribute to your soreness. A little soreness is great.
Yeah.
If you're not sore, it doesn't mean that you didn't work out hard enough.
That's how I feel sometimes.
I know. It's like,
how do I get rid of that
you
mentality?
almost get addicted to the soreness.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't work hard enough. I got to push harder.
Yeah, like that thought that soreness means progression.
Not necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it just means something different. Sometimes the soreness means that you weren't properly hydrated or you didn't sleep enough, so your body didn't function properly.
Interesting.
If it's a brand new movement, you're going to be sore.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's something that you've never done before, you're kind of breaking it in. Yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit.
Absolutely. If you haven't done it in a while, you're going to be sore. If you're really overtrained in one area and you're trying to train the opposing muscle, you'll probably be sore.
Yeah.
But if you're debilitated, that's not good.
No.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to work so hard that you can't move for 5 days.
Yeah. So more isn't better.
No, more isn't better. You want to wake up the day after, or even better, 2 days after, and be like, oh, I did something.
It's so tough because there's just that mentality of if you hurt today, it doesn't matter. Get in there.
Oh, yeah, no pain, no gain. And it's hard.
How do we just dispel that? That's just so insane. And it makes sense that, okay, 1 is good, 2 must be better. But
well, the sad part is most people don't get over it until they get hurt.
Yeah.
And then you have to. I mean, that's how I found yoga.
Right.
I was a crazy, insane runner. Like, more miles is better. Oh, my knee hurts, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, my foot hurts, I'll keep going. Until my body was like, no, you're not.
And we're seeing that a lot with running now because we've gone from marathons to ultra marathons. And we're seeing 100-mile, 250-mile, and now they're talking about 500-mile races. What's your take on all that?
I couldn't even imagine.
I can't even imagine either.
Every time I run a marathon, I'm like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
And then someone talks me into doing it, and that's
Do you still run?
Life. I do.
You do?
Yeah.
What's the longest marathon you've done?
Just a regular old full marathon. 26.2. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. Yeah, the ultras, I think running can be an addiction just like anything else.
Yeah.
And more is better, right?
Yeah.
And while you're running and training for these things, you can't focus on anything else. You can't deal with anything else.
There's one part of me that kind of cringes at the whole thing. Like, how could people do this to themselves? But there's another huge part of me that is noticing people discovering the potential of the human body. Because I think probably 20 years ago, we thought we would never be able to run 500 miles. But there's a whole group of people doing it now.
Absolutely. I think it's such a fine line.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing what the body can do, but you also have to take care of it because we only get one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a really hard line, and it's a mental thing. I can push this hard, well, I can push harder.
Yeah.
And if he can do it, I can do it. And you have to know when to back off, and again, be nice to yourself.
So do you think these ultramarathons might be an unhealthy statement to the public, giving them unrealistic ideas of what they can and can't do?
I think if it's on your bucket list, then do it once. If you're not going to feel complete unless you do it once.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's a realistic expectation for your average person to do. Because your average person has responsibilities and things to do during the week, and they can't spend their entire life training.
Right.
And the thing that your average person doesn't consider is professional athletes. That's their job.
That's all they do.
And what they do when we're sitting here doing our job is they recover. They get massages, and they have whatever they do, ice baths and massage and yoga and stretching, and they have a team of people to help them recover.
A
and
nutritionist, making sure that they get all the right nutrients to feel better the next day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what the average person fails to consider is they don't have those resources.
Mm-hmm.
So their body can't really perform that way, or shouldn't.
Is ultramarathon on your bucket list at all?
Absolutely not.
Yes. Good.
Absolutely not.
If somebody said you had to do it, how would you prepare?
Run away.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
if I'm being 100% completely honest,
knowing full well it's completely unhealthy, but how would you get out the other end alive?
I just ran 2 marathons last year without training at all because I told a friend I would do it and then just didn't have the quote-unquote didn't have the time.
Yeah.
Didn't make the time
Yeah.
to train, and I just did it because if I had to do it, I'll just do it. It's not gonna kill me.
Right.
Definitely, it's not gonna make me feel good.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
if you told me I absolutely had to do it, there was no choice, I don't think I would do much different than I was doing right now. But I would definitely try to take care of myself a little bit better. My nutrition, hydration, sleep,
Yeah.
those are more important
Interesting.
than pushing to train harder. I think we fail to realize that.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it, you said, at the beginning of this that, you bought your own studio and you teach there. But this industry now and what you do in the industry has given you a lot of chances to travel and to do a lot of that kind of stuff. How much do you travel to teach and stuff like that?
Well, I don't own a studio anymore, if that answers the question. Yeah, I'm on the road too much. I sold my studio last year. So now I'm on a couple trade show circuits, and I travel all over the country, and I teach this BarreFlow class to fitness professionals and just to regular people.
So you go to do you go to other people's studios and teach there, or what exactly is like a trade show environment in this?
So just like in any industry, you go to a trade show and people have their booths and they're showcasing their products. But in a fitness trade show, people can take classes. So there are booths and people showcase their products and their certifications, but there's a full schedule of classes all day. So I'm going to Washington, D.C. in January, New York City in February, and I'll be teaching master classes to large groups of fit pros.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you get a good reaction when you teach classes like that? Or like,
Yeah.
I never thought about the pelvis before.
There it is again.
There's that pelvis. I mean, I put myself out there by advertising things like What the Tuck.
Yeah.
So, but I think people that go to those shows go hungry to learn.
Yeah.
And it's such a great environment to teach in because they just want to leave with as much information as they can.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a different world.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I think that the fitness industry as a whole has become a different world. Within even the last 5 years, people are hungrier for information. There's much more information out there to consume. Where do you see this industry going from here?
I think you're going to see a heck of a lot more virtual.
AR kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah.
I never thought about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Interesting.
So you could be taking group classes in your living room.
Wait for it. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that something that you'd ever be interested in getting into?
Maybe not to that extent, but why not? I mean, I
Right.
don't have any plans to do it, but I
Right.
do live stream. I do teach classes from my living room.
So how do you teach a live stream? Like where do people log on to see something like that? Do
On
you have your
YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do it right through YouTube.
Yeah, I do it through YouTube.
Do you have
So-
a good pile of subscribers that sit in and?
We're just working on it right now, but
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's
Very
growing,
cool.
so it's fun. Right now it's a free one while I'm getting the kinks out, and then soon to be a subscription base.
So people subscribe, and then whenever you do a live feed, they get the notification, they hop on, and then they do a class with you,
Yep.
pretty much?
Yeah, and they can go back and see all the ones that I've done already.
Oh, that's cool. And what kind of classes are you usually teaching?
They're mainly BarreFlow, some yoga, and
Okay.
they range from 10-minute express classes to full 45-minute classes.
Do they need like equipment at home at
Just
all?
a mat.
Just a mat?
Just a mat.
Really?
Yep, I try to make it as accessible as possible, so
Interesting.
anybody can do it. Yeah.
Very cool.
And that's why I think that the fitness industry is such an interesting, organism now, because it's constantly growing. It's constantly evolving. And technology, even for something like BarreFlow, where literally all you need is a mat, technology is allowing you to literally reach everyone in the world.
Yeah, it's such a crazy industry now, and I think more people work out with virtual trainers and work out online and with apps and all the fitness devices now, the gadgets, the Fitbits and iWatches and all that stuff. We never would have thought about that 10 years ago.
That's really, really cool. So the question we get to on this show with every guest, and I'm very curious with you, is through all of that you've learned in the industry since your beginnings to getting hurt to then finding yoga and everything you've done, what fuels you to keep doing it? What fuels you to keep being an innovator in this field?
I think the people that walk away with that aha moment, like that, especially people that have been injured, that have been through something themselves. If I know that they leave my class or my room or whatever, if I'm lecturing, and they're like, oh, all right. And just to see that look on somebody's face, that not that I've changed their life, because that goes back to that guru thing, but that I made a difference. Yeah. And that they're going to take something that I said and hopefully share it with someone else who can share it with someone else. So I think that that's what keeps me going.
Very cool.
How often do you watch like a training class or people lifting weights and you cringe? Like, oh my God, they're going to destroy themselves.
I often joke that when I go to the gym to work out myself, that I want to take out my contacts.
Just to see just people.
So I can just be in my own little bubble.
Well, that's always the scariest thing when somebody thinks they know what they're doing, they go in, there's nobody watching them, and things go haywire really quick.
And, that's my fear with the whole idea of this going virtual. Yeah. Because your computer doesn't watch you. Yeah. And your app doesn't tell you that you're doing something that's contraindicated. So part of me in my heart wants to be old school and have people just work with another human all the time. Yeah.
Well,
I think it's safer.
Don't you think we could build technology in order maybe it has sensors all over you and it knows if something's maybe out of sync, it will let you know?
Yeah, I'm sure that we could, but I don't think your average Joe couldn't afford that.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So, my hope is that fitness could be accessible and enjoyable for everyone, and not overwhelming and stupidly expensive. So you don't need any crazy equipment. Just get up and move.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring, especially to hear you talk about it. Have you ever thought about writing a book?
Yeah, actually. I have a couple started.
Good.
Bits and pieces. It's
good. Because you seem to be a wealth of information about this. And like I said, within this industry, it seems like there's such a hunger for information now, and people really wanting to know all the ins and outs and am I doing this right? Outside of the other side of that, of people at the gym just not doing it right. But
they'll find out real quick.
Right.
And they'll get to a situation where they'll be turning to people like you to be like, well, I can't go anymore, and I'm getting out of shape, and I'm scared I'm going to hurt myself again. And
and it's scary that there's so much information out there that isn't great. And there's so many. I mean, if you look up anything online, you're going to get 15 different answers to the same question.
I think it's kind of important to find the right people in that virtual world that do have good credentials and are teaching the right things, not just some schmo on YouTube showing you how to clean and jerk. That's scary. That's very scary.
That's the thing. Any videos that you watch or articles that you read, check out where they're coming from. Yep. Who's paying for them and who the person is that's talking, because and the yoga world is awful, and I can say that because I'm part of the yoga world, but the Instagram yogis. And these crazy poses in these beautiful places.
Right.
And then people are like, I don't look like that. I can't do yoga.
Right.
That's not what yoga is supposed to be. And there's 10 billion people in the world, right? So there's 10 billion versions of every single yoga pose.
Yeah.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of something the Dalai Lama said. And he said there are 10 billion people in the world. There should be 10 billion different types of religion.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different. They all have different needs. They all have different setbacks and abilities. And you need to find what works for you and not force yourself into somebody else's ideals.
Absolutely. And that really applies to the body, because we all do different things with our body every day.
Yep.
Right? Not only do we sit in different ways or do different things physically, but we eat differently, we sleep differently, our nutrition, our hydration, the way we sleep,
our
everything.
Everyday stresses.
Yeah, it's totally different. So how can I expect my physical body to look like a professional athlete who all they do all day is yoga.
And it's tough with like Instagram out there.
It's
and,
hard.
Everybody posting their muscles or their lean bodies with big butts. And,
Yeah.
and I want that. They have that. I can have that. It's like, well, maybe that might not be realistic.
That's their highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
Social media is their highlight reel, and we're
course.
comparing our, whatever's on the floor in the cutting room to their highlight reel.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Well, I feel inspired, and I hope our listeners and watchers
Just
do
gonna
as
start
well.
doing yoga tomorrow.
Nice.
And I want what is, speaking of either social media or not, but what is the best way for people to find out where you're going to be and how to follow what you do?
So the best way would be follow BarreFlow on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay.
Our website is barreflow.net.
Okay.
And any of those places, BarreFlow on YouTube as well. You can catch some of the live streams or some of the things that we've already recorded.
Excellent. I'll put all that in this show for everybody. I can't thank you enough for coming in. This
Thank
has been
you.
an incredible conversation.
Great. I enjoyed it so much.
Cheers.
This has been Fueled by Deathcast, a Death Wish Coffee Company podcast production. Thanks for listening.